Hey there, what's up? What is the word there? My name is Verena and thank you so much for coming back to the Melanated Messages channel. We missed you over here. So today is going to be the starting of a new series on the channel. It's going to be horoscope inspired makeup, and I'm not actually going to be going in order. Since it is Leo season, this is the first look that we're doing for this series. Okay, so shout out to you if you're a Leo. Let me know down in the comments below, or just let me know what horoscope you are. Anyway, okay, so let's just do a quick reading up on Leos. So I have here saying that Leos are born between July 23rd and August 22nd and belong to the fire element of the zodiac signs. Fires are big, bouncy show-offs with equally big ideas and even bigger hearts. Aww. Leos are ruled by the sun, and this makes them optimistic, enthusiastic, passionate, and spontaneous. And the birthstone for Leos is a peridot, that is a green gem. So this is why today's look is mostly a green. So if you want to find out how I got this fun, exciting look, definitely go ahead and keep on watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video and follow me on other social media. So let's get started. So I already have this eye primed. If you don't know how I prime my eyes, you definitely need to go ahead and check out the last video. I'll link it in the card somewhere there above. I do use a combination of the Crayon Case washable eye glue stick and also my LA Girl Pro Conceal in the color Warm Honey. So I use this first and then I use this on top, and I actually set it a little differently. I use my Sacha setting powder instead of the regular compact that I used in the last video, but you should definitely go ahead and check that out. The first thing I did was to take this brown eyeshadow here and then just this big old fluffy brush, and I put that all over my eye, but again I concentrated it under my eyebrow. So I first just pat it in like this, took some more and just went all over my eye like so. So my last video was a hooded eye do's and don'ts video, and I really went in depth as to the reason why you're doing all those things. So that's another reason why I'm directing you towards that video. But make sure you put a transition shade under your brow, especially if you have hooded eyes, to just help you blend out those colors better. I took this dense brush here, no, look at it, that just like that, and then I went into this green color here. I just put that there. I was very indecisive when picking which green to work with, but then I just kind of just dipped my brush into it first. So now what you want to do again, eyes open. I swear I tell you guys this in every video. It's because it's important. But anyway, eyes open, and you're just pushing this in. Again, you don't have to do it too hard. And I'm using that 7 technique, basically making a backward 7 with my eyeshadow. Again, for a better demonstration of that, please refer to my last video after you've watched this one. So I'm just going to make that shadow come inward now. Okay, so after I'm done, just by watching the eyeshadow, you can see here is the highest point of the eyeshadow, which is what I want. I left this space blank because that's where we're going to be doing our cut crease today. And as I'm coming in the inner corner of my eye, the shadow is actually coming down. Again, this is going to make your eye look very elongated and not just closed off and small, because that's how our hooded eyes are already naturally. So just to accent it better. To blend out that green, I did something that I, probably wouldn't normally do. I took this brush here. Let me just make you get a better visual of that. So this is not a blending brush by any means, but the other brush was kind of too big and I didn't really want it to mess up my eyebrows, so I ended up taking this very small detail brush and I dipped into this yellow here. I swear it almost kind of looks like a neon yellow. Well, in person, at least on camera it doesn't look like that. So then I just did this, and do you notice the yellow on my eye around the green? It's very, very subtle, and plus my lights are very bright, so it's probably is washing it out, but it's there. So anyway, if you have a more pigment in the yellow, then this may work for you. So I know this is going to be kind of cringy at first, but I promise you, after I blended it out, so I literally just took this and put the yellow right on the edge again, just kind of stamping it on, brushing it on. Okay, yeah, I know we're looking crazy right now, but basically after you've put down that ring of yellow on the green, I'm going to this brush now, which is another actual blending brush here, and then I just went in and blended this again using very little circular motions like so. Let me just slow that down so you could get it. So that's what I'm doing around the edge of my eye. And yes, you can go ahead and stretch your eye now because you already mapped out where the shadows are going to be, how high you want them, because we had our eye open initially. And if you find that some of the green gets lost in your blending, you can just go back to the first brush that you had and just gently push wherever you want more of that green color to show up. You don't even have to put more eyeshadow on the brush. And then you can go back in and blend. Okay, so you see, you have to trust the process. As soon as I went in with the brush and started doing my little circular motions on the edges, that ugly ring that was there quickly disappeared. So, you know, gotta trust the process. You gotta trust the process. Okay, so now for today's cut crease situation, I didn't choose to use Vaseline. I didn't choose to use micellar water like I have done recently. I just went the traditional route of just putting my concealer over the eyeshadow. Yeah, I was a little lazy today. So, oh, and by the way, if at any point in the tutorial you see a little lace from my wig, please ignore that. Like my favorite YouTuber Jackie Aina always says, I signed up to be a YouTuber, not my wig, okay? So if you see any lace poking out, I will fix it by the end of the video, but please don't clock me in the comments. I know you're probably laughing at me, I can feel it, but that's okay. I'm here to bring you the makeup tips. You can go watch somebody else for the hair, okay? Okay, I went ahead and took my LA Girl Pro Conceal in Warm Honey again, and I put some on the back of my hand. Let me just show you that spot. It's right there on my knuckle, and I'm taking this brush. This is actually a lip brush. Again, ladies, please be resourceful. Don't think that you have to have 10 million different products just to get a simple look. And if there's any other YouTuber or influencer trying to get you to do that, honestly, it's not worth it. So make the most of what you have. I just felt that my regular concealer brush, it was a little too big. Usually that's what I would use, but because I just wanted this to be very, very tidy, I went in for tiny brushes today. Today is a extra tiny brush day. Okay, so I put some on the brush there, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease. So what I like to do, and I'm gonna be looking down in my mirror, so excuse me, you know, trying to get this right. So what I like to do first is just go ahead and you want to just put a line like this of your concealer, and then you can tilt your head. You tilt your head down and you look up at the same time. So you're doing two things at the same time. Your head is being tilted down and you're looking up. You can move your eye around if you want. Notice what happens there, that the concealer basically touches the highest point of your eye. And for hooded eyes, this is a very, very effective tip if you don't know how high to go with your cut creases. This also prevents you going too low, and then you may put something and then it's like you can't see it or you still have transfer. And also notice the gap between the line and where the new spot is. That just shows you like where all the shadow would be in your skin folding. So now that you know how far up to go and cut the crease, you just go ahead and make whatever shape it is you want. I'm not going to drag it out like my other videos. This is just going to be like your, you know, your typical cut crease. So you can go whichever direction you want first, whichever makes you feel more comfortable, but I just like to map out the circle and then fill it in afterwards. Now you can go about filling in your cut crease two ways. You can place the brush on the edge and then pull each time until you get your shape and then clean it up afterwards, or you can just go ahead and glide it. I would say if you are like a beginner, you might want to go ahead and just take your time and press and pull until you get the shape that you want and clean it up after. If you're accustomed to doing this or you're in a rush, swiping may be able to work for you, but I actually use like a combination of both. So after you went ahead and you cut out your crease in the shape, now hooded eye girls, please do not go ahead and just start moving your eye around willy-nilly after you've reached this step. You want to keep your eye as stretched as possible so that you don't accidentally get the concealer on other places of your eye. So try to keep your eye as stretched as possible, or if you can't keep it like closed like this, you might want to squint or something. I'm gonna be looking like Fenty Wap for a little minute, so remember, you gotta keep your eye stretched. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the shimmer. So I went ahead and took my MAC Mixing Medium. I put a little spot of that at the back of my hand. It's the white spot there, and I'm taking this flat shader brush. This is what I'm going to use to pack on those shimmers. Now because I have concealer there, I'm not going to rub it in with the concealer because I want this to dry down. So anyway, I'm just going to go in directly and pick it up on the brush first. Usually what I would do if I like clean off the entire area is put it down on my eye, use the brush, put the shimmer, then put a second coat, but this time I just put the first coat on the brush itself. Now I'm going to go into this color here called Casablanca from this palette. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned the name of the first palette I used. It was the matte book from the Crayon case. A list of all the products I use can be found in the description down below. What I did is that I put Casablanca in my inner corner on this eye, and then I put a green shimmer on the outer end. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Okay, so notice when I first start putting down that shimmer that I didn't go directly on the edge. I like to work my way, I like to start in the center and then work my way towards the edge, just to avoid, you know, making any mistakes. One important thing is that what I always tell my audience is that when you're doing your makeup, you always want to keep a piece of tissue with you, or paper towel, or something that you can use to like clean off your fingers, your hands, or your brushes in between, especially if you don't have a lot of brushes and you're reusing them for multiple steps in your eyeshadow. And I have 2 eyeshadow brush sets now, but before I only had 1, so I used to finesse the hell, excuse my language, but I used to finesse. I would probably use like 1 brush 3 different ways just to make it work. So it is very possible. So what I did is that I cleaned off this shader brush, and now we're going to go for the green shimmer here in the palette, and we're gonna do the same thing and put it on the edge. I wish this was a little darker, but this is what I have. But I did order some glitters that I should be getting soon, so probably in like the next video or 2 that you see, we're gonna be having some glitter, girl, because right now I only have a gold one, but I ordered like different colors. So we're just gonna do the same thing with this green on the rest of the blank space. So after I've put down that other shimmer, what I would do is just take the shader brush and gently drag on the gold and bring it into the green. And then I also just took my finger and dipped back into that Casablanca color from that palette real quick, and then just took it and went between that like line of demarcation between the 2 colors and just dragged it out. Okay, so then now after you have done this, you're not actually done yet, because you know part of the hooded eye struggle is having transfer. So like I said, you still don't want to go ahead and move your eye around too much. So then what you need to do is go back in with the MAC mixing medium again and just take like another little dot and clean off your brush again. That's why you need to have a piece of tissue, and then just do the same thing. And then you're going to go back where you put those shimmers, but instead of like swiping and doing all that different movement, you're just going to go ahead and like pat it over the place where you put the shimmer. So just like that, nothing complicated, you just pat over it. You don't want to swipe and drag this because you can actually create patches in the shimmer. And then once this is dry, then you can roll your eyes 1,000 times if you want. You can, you know, do all that after. And I did this eye off camera and I've been moving it for a while, and as you can see, there is no transfer on top here where we put down that initial green, and that is the whole point of using this product. So now we're gonna go ahead and do our liner, add some lashes, and then we'll be done with the eye look. It's time for me to put lashes. Now I don't actually put glue to the lash band and then put it on that. I actually struggle with doing that a lot. So what I do is that I put some glue at the back of my hand, that black dot there, and then I put the glue on my lash line and then add the lash after. Now I had a liner brush and it actually got destroyed, so I'm just using the end of this spoolie. It's like very, very small. and I'm going to go ahead and line my lash line. And now doing it this way, you're actually using less glue, so it dries a lot quicker than doing it the traditional method. So most times before I even go on to the next eye, I will like put the lash on this eye. And it's like, yeah, that glue was already like tacky and ready to go. So after I put my lashes, just to go ahead and tidy up the line, I'm using this liquid eyeliner pen from the Crayon case to go ahead and tighten up those lines. Remember that brush we used earlier for the yellow? I went ahead and cleaned it off on the piece of tissue that we had, and now I'm going into my Crayon case palette again, and I'm going to take that black and just put like a very little on the outer corner here. And the black from this palette does have a lot of like kickback, so if you are using this palette, just be careful. Yeah, so that was pretty simple, guys. All right, and to complete the eye look and bring it all together, I'm going back into this palette and I'm going to use like the darker forest green and this dome brush here just to put that shadow under my eye.